guys, welcome to my channel Soul Food, where we like to celebrate all cultures. This video is part of my recurring series called A Book and an Eat, where I'm reading a book and making a meal from all 196 countries. If you'd like to start from the first episode, Afghanistan, I will link it either up here or up here. So anyways, today's country is Angola, so I'd like to talk a little bit more about that. So Angola has a population of around 34.8 million people as of July 2021. It is located in southern Africa and it's slightly less the size of Texas, which means it's pretty damn big of a country. I mean, I don't know if y'all have ever been to Texas, but if you drive across Texas, it'll take you around 12 hours, give or take. Now, just double that in your head, that's how big Angola is. Now, if you're wondering, well, Angola has all these people and all of this land, and it's also pretty oil rich too. Why haven't we really heard of it as more of a developing country? Now, the reason for this is because of the civil wars that actually the book we are going to be discussing focuses on. So these civil wars occurred in the 1970s and took place after Portugal left Angola, because Angola was a Portuguese territory. But more on that later. So Polish journalist Ryszard Kapuscinski wrote Another Day of Life based off of his first-hand account of civil war in Angola in the 1970s. So the thing is that we're going to be going through a lot of serious topics like war and bloodshed and colonization. So that makes you uncomfortable at all. You may want to skip this section, be around 4 minutes of time. And the thing is that this is more of a chronicle of a country dying a biblical death. So much like how, the thing is that as Ryszard puts it, this city was dying the way an oasis dies when the well runs dry. It became empty, fell into a nation, passed into oblivion. We know Angola will be reborn, but we do not know when. And they're still, for the most part, struggling to be reborn, even in modern times, even today, due to the fact that for about 500 years at this point, this country has been in many different wars. People who want its oil-rich and mineral-rich land, but don't know how to treat it right, which has left Angola in a state to pick up the pieces that other country has left behind. But we are focusing on the Civil War of the 1970s. Now, this war was fought between three armies and their allies, fighting a proxy war. And these armies were Cuba, Zaire, which is now the Dominican Republic of the Congo, and South Africa. However, many different countries had this. So this tale is really about a country that can't survive on its own anymore. And there are 4 stories in Another Day of Life that really stuck out to me. One was of this 12-year-old boy who told Ryszard that he was 16, but everyone knows he's 12, and he wants to go art school. And because of this, he is fighting for the army, which he knows is shameful, but he has to fight because they said that they will pay for his art school. And one quote, which I'm going to be paraphrasing here, he said, "If you give him a pen and a paper, he can draw anything, but he is fighting here and no one knows his name." And that really stuck out to me. Another story that stuck out to me was that Angola became a city, or more importantly, the main city in Angola, which is Luanda, which I'm pretty sure is still the capital city today, became a city of crates, as everyone was desperately trying to move out of the city and back because of all this unrest. People moved out of their homes and instead moved into these crates. And what Ryszard does is he goes into the social he goes into the social strata of these crates. So like what upper class crate homes look like, moving on all the way to what to what crates of the poorest sects of people in Rwanda are living in. And these tales all really stuck out to me. I believe this is a very short tale, but the content was very dense and made me take a while to read it. This is really one of those books that you need to soak into you because the content is so dense and it reads more like a documentary than an actual book, if that makes sense. But anyways, I highly recommend that you all check out this book. It's called Another Day of Life by Rysar Kapusinski. I'll link it down below. And now we are going to move on to our meal.
Hey guys, today I'm making Mwamba de Galinha, which is an Angolan chicken dish. Right now I am putting various chicken pieces like thighs, breasts, and drumsticks all in a bowl, which we will then use as the basis for our entire meal. Next, I am just squeezing a lemon and mixing it around. Putting in some white pepper, some other spices such as garlic. It's all just a good time, though it smells horrific. Mixing it again, just trying to get it as evenly spread as possible. We don't want any bland chicken. This is really the foundation for a dish. Now I am turning on the stove, making sure it's all heated up. Putting in some oil. This is equal parts olive oil and canola oil, just so that you get that nice, the nice benefits of both. After the oil is heated up, we will place all the chicken pieces on the pan. Now, I know that this might seem like pan crowding, but trust me, if you have a big enough saucepan, it's better to do it all at once, saves time. However, if you're really serious about pan crowding, you can always do 2 different pans. I'm just always like, the less dishes, the better, Now, after 5 or so minutes, I'm just turning the chicken pieces, making sure everything's evenly cooked. I'm probably going to do this a couple more times. Now we're just finishing up, turning it around, and look, the chicken's all done through the power of movie magic. Putting on some garlic and some paprika. And I think we're ready for the tomatoes now. So just putting those tomatoes on, making sure you get those all equal. Vegetables and chicken are really the cornerstone of this dish. So we really want to make sure that everything is all evenly cooked, and also smaller the vegetables, shorter the time it takes to cook. Like now, it only took a second. Just kidding, it took me like 20 minutes. But now that we've let our stew simmer for a bit, we are now putting in the butternut squash, making sure that gets an equal too. And we put this in last because it takes the shortest amount of time to cook. Now here's the finished product. I'd say this was, in short, a 7 out of 10. It's a pretty good weeknight meal. Took a bit longer, a lot more complicated than I thought. But overall, pretty good.